What's up, guys? Welcome to our first episode of our podcast. Today, we're going to be discussing the first top 10 picks of the draft that's happening tomorrow. So, we're going to get it started. We're all going to say our first pick. We're going to talk about some trades that we see happening. So, the first pick, my first pick, I have Joe Burrow to the Bengals. Does anyone have anything different?
I think that's unanimous.
No, sir.
First round pick.
Yeah, he's going first.
Yeah.
He
It would be a
basically set
shocker.
every record.
It would be a shocker if he doesn't go first.
Big time.
Like, if they take any other quarterback at 1, if they take Justin Herbert at 1, shit would be crazy.
Surprised. I would be surprised, but it's the Bengals, so,
Anything
They
can
could
happen.
mess
But
it
I mean,
up.
they have an Ohio native who set the CFB record with like 60 touchdown passes and had almost completed 3/4 of his throws, which is ridiculous.
The only argument you could really have is the weapons he had, but like still, his passer rating spoke for itself.
Yeah, Justin Jeffries, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is gonna be like the top 5 pick next year, but
if he goes to the Bengals, he's gonna have AJ Green and Tyler Boyd, which are two really good
and
targets.
John Ross
Well, if they're not
John
hurt,
Ross, too.
yeah.
Yeah,
and Joe Mixon. But I mean, the coach.
I mean
I
we
don't
don't
know.
know.
I
We don't
know.
really know about Zach Taylor yet.
Zach
I mean,
Taylor,
they were just tanking that season.
I don't know,
Right.
that offense was hard to watch sometimes. Pick 2. Chase Young to the Redskins.
I have Chase Young too, Redskins.
I think it's unanimous again. Chase Young, number 2.
Yeah, I don't see them going any other way. I feel like Chase Young has to be their pick.
Yeah, one of the top prospects in the draft. Like, you can't go wrong. I mean, you could go wrong if you draft anything else.
Yeah, he has the Ohio State record from. I'm pretty sure he has the career sack record for Ohio
he
State,
does.
and
Yeah.
the
It
Bosa
was like
brothers
16
went
and
there,
a half,
and
I think.
yeah, both the Bosa brothers went there, and so many other top players went there, and he's
He
the
broke
record
it
holder.
while serving a 2-game suspension too.
Which is insane.
Yeah, with Montez Sweat, that would be a nice line if they take him. I feel like there's nowhere else to go.
Ryan
I feel like
Kerrigan.
the top
too.
2. Yeah, I feel like the top 2 everyone has the same in like every mock draft I've seen. But number 3,
This is where things get spicy.
Oh,
things, yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know about you guys, but my third pick, I have a trade.
I also
okay.
have a trade.
Me
Also a
too.
trade. All right.
Oh,
Danny,
am
go
I the
first.
only one that kept it the same? All right, I didn't put trades out here.
All right, Danny, what's your trade?
I have the Dolphins or the Lions trading their pick to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins selecting Tristan Wirfs at number 3.
Oh,
That is
Okay.
who I have.
oh,
That's what I did.
I have the Lions trading back to the 5th pick, and the Dolphins take quarterback Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama with the 3rd overall pick.
Okay.
Secure their
okay.
future. They're going to get the best quarterback in the draft. No shade to Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, but Tua is definitely the best prospect in the draft. Without his injuries, I believe he would have went number 1. And yeah, I think the Dolphins trade up and get their starting quarterback for the future.
Yeah, Shane, I was on the same page as you until today when a bunch of news broke out that the Dolphins were looking of trading up, but they were not looking to trade up for a quarterback, but looking to trade up for an offensive tackle, which is why I go for Tristan Wirfs as well.
Oh, wow.
gonna be crazy.
Okay.
Well,
They think that they could get their quarterback later on, but they need to secure
I
their
don't see 'em-
offensive tackle.
this is a really there's the big 4 offensive tackles: Andrew Thomas, Tristan Wirfs, and then
Jedrick
other 2 guys.
Willis.
Yeah, Jedrick Willis and
And
Oh,
Mekhi Becton.
Mekhi Beckham. Yeah, so I feel like after Joe Burrow, Chase Young are going, and you have the 5th pick, I think they could stay pat and take an offensive lineman if they want. But I have seen some rumors they're trying to trade up to 3 and not give up the 5th pick, so they could take Jedrick Willis and Tua. But you never know. Joe, what do you have at 3?
I did not put the trade into effect in mine. I don't think the Lions or not the. I don't think anybody's going to trade up for this 3rd pick, and I think Jeff Okudah is going at 3, top corner in the draft. I think it's a solid pick all around. Definitely helped the defense out. But Tua going 3, that's iffy to me, Shane. I don't think they're going to do it.
I think they should.
I think if they do trade up, I think they're going to take a tackle.
I think Tua has too many question marks with the
He,
injuries.
if his injury prone carries on to the NFL, he could be the best player in the draft, but injuries could take him out of that question real fast.
I think he's so good that they should risk it. Because if you get him healthy, they're saying they call him like the lefty Drew Brees. I think he could be even better than Drew Brees if he stays healthy. Big if, obviously.
Statement. Whoa,
Yeah, that's a bold take.
The big
That's a bold
praise.
take.
I have
bold
big
take.
praise, but I fully support that.
Wow.
And then back to the Lions taking Jeff Okota from Ohio State. I mean, that's good. They just got rid of Darius Slay. They signed Desmond Trufant, so now their secondary is gonna be pretty all right. I mean, everything else of the team is kind of trash. I mean, you have Matt Stafford, Kenny Galladay, and Matt Prater. I don't know.
Not fair.
Even him, he's on the
Yeah.
decline.
Getting old. So for the fourth pick, I have the Giants
baby.
staying pat and taking what I think is clearly the best linebacker / safety in the draft, Isaiah Simmons from Clemson. Guy was an absolute beast all year. Can guard anyone. Would he run like a 4.39? Ridiculous. Can keep up with running backs. I think that would be a great pick for the Giants. Secure the defense.
I have the Giants passing on Isaiah Simmons and taking Dredrick Wills Jr. to defend, block Daniel Jones' blindside for the future. Nate Solder getting sacked way too much, fumbling the football, needs protection.
I think that's a very fair pick. I'm going to have to agree with Shane on this one. I'm going with Isaiah Simmons. I feel like, yes, you do need to protect Daniel Jones for the future, but you can't pass on one of the best prospects in the entire draft. And Isaiah Simmons, like, he's going to solve any problems on the defense that you guys have. And I think you just got to take him.
Yeah. So it would make sense for the Giants to to draft a tackle in the spot to block for Saquon, to protect Daniel Jones. But I feel like at number 4 pick, you have to go with best value. And I feel like Isaiah Simmons is that. And the Giants defense has been terrible over these past couple of years. So improving on that. If you look back to the 2 Super Bowls we won with Eli Manning,
Fair.
that was big part on the defense. And I think defense wins championships. So I'd rather support having a defensive draft compared to taking an offensive tackle.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised here if the Giants trade back. There's been reports that Gettleman's trying to trade back. And let's say no one trades up to pick 3, the Lions select Okudah or someone. Pick 4 is a big commodity for quarterbacks because, it's expected Dolphins and Chargers might take a quarterback. So if the Chargers want to jump in front of the Dolphins or a team like the Jaguars, Saints, Patriots want to grab a quarterback, I could definitely see the Giants trading back and getting a bunch of seconds and maybe another first.
Just going off of rumors and how the Giants were talking to Justin Herbert, it's definitely a smokescreen. But if it isn't, I will, as a Giants fan, I will lose my mind drafting another quarterback in back-to-back years. Like, what are we doing here? It better be a smokescreen for other people to trade up.
I definitely think that's the case. Because Daniel Jones he was looking pretty good besides the ball security issues, but besides that he was looking good as the quarterback for you guys.
Take out the game against the Jets where Jamal Adams absolutely destroyed him. He was looking to have a good season. I don't think Giants are going to take another quarterback. All right, so moving on with the 5th pick, I have the Lions selecting cornerback Jeff Okudah from Ohio State. We've already talked about him, but I think they're just secure their secondary for the future.
I also have Jeff Okudah going to the Lions at 5 for similar reasons.
Yeah, once I made that trade back to the 5th pick with the Lions, I think that they need to take Jeff Okudah now that they have a big question mark at cornerback for the future. So they got to go get their new cornerstone.
Since I did not have any trades in my top 10, I still have the Dolphins picking at 5, and I have Justin Herbert going to the Dolphins before Tua. I feel like they just, because of injury prone, they're not going to want to draft Tua that high up, even though his potential is great. I think they're more scared of like the fact they're drafting a quarterback that should be their franchise quarterback, but they don't want him to be injured all the time, which would definitely impact the offense as a whole if you're trying to start him early.
Yeah, I
mean,
think. What were you gonna say, Shane?
I don't know. Obviously, I have Tua over Justin Herbert in my rankings, but Justin Herbert, he has some good qualities, but he makes a lot of questionable throws and gets bailed out because of his arm talent. So it's going to take a big difference. You're going from these Oregon teams that are definitely superior to their competition to now playing on the Dolphins. Like, yes, you have Devontae Parker. I used to sign Jordan Howard, but compared to like some of the defenses you're going to have to go up against, like especially the Bills and the Jets and the Patriots, all in his division, it's gonna be tough to see how he can like become more accurate and make better throws.
I have Tua ranked as a higher prospect compared to Justin Herbert, but I just feel like due to injuries, he's not going to be taken before Justin Herbert. And then the one upside, I guess you could say, for Justin Herbert is he doesn't have the same weapons that Tua had at Alabama. So you could put that into perspective and be like, if he had the same weapons Tua did, he would obviously do a lot better.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think that later on in my mock draft for the full first round, I do have the Dolphins taking Tua just because they have a quarterback right now that can help them succeed and let Tua rest for a bit in Ryan Fitzpatrick, which he might not be able to make them go to the playoffs, but he'll help them win a few games, help teach Tua, and let him rest and make sure that his hip is fully repaired. So
It's magic.
All right, with the sixth pick, I have the Los Angeles Chargers taking their franchise quarterback for the future, and maybe for next year, Justin Herbert from Oregon. Obviously, we just talked about him. I see him as the third best quarterback in this draft. I feel like the Chargers, you look at their team, they're good everywhere. The wide receivers, safeties, they just signed Chris Harris Jr. I feel like they don't really have many weaknesses besides obviously quarterback. Tyrod Taylor is going to be good enough for next year, but past that, they're going to need another quarterback, and they'll have time to groom Justin Herbert, and he'll have a lot more weapons than if he went to Miami.
I also have Justin Herbert going at 6 to the Chargers.
Yep, Justin Herbert is my pick for the Chargers to be their next quarterback.
Yeah, I'm always different out here, I guess. I have Jedrick Willis going to the Chargers because I feel like they're going to trust Tyrod Taylor to like somewhat lead an offense, but yet again, they're expected to not make the playoffs and probably tank that year. So they're probably going to next draft looking for a quarterback. And I feel like they want to rebuild their offensive line before they draft their quarterback. And surprisingly, this is my bold prediction. I don't think Tua is getting drafted in the top 10.
I don't have Tua in the top 10 either.
Neither do I.
I don't see that possibly happening, but back to what you were saying, Joe, with the Chargers, I feel like with the weapons they have around, obviously, I don't expect them to win the division. I feel like the Chiefs have that locked up. But if they're maybe adding a third wildcard team or even with two wildcard teams, I feel like they have the talent around Tyrod Taylor to compete for a wildcard spot. And Tyrod Taylor, he's not a bad quarterback. If you look at his stats compared to Cam Newton after his MVP year, they're almost identical, except Tyrod Taylor throws less picks and he doesn't throw the ball away. So I feel like they will make the playoffs or at least be close enough and not like tank for a quarterback. But I would definitely say that offensive line would probably be one of their biggest needs after quarterback. So that's what we say. So with the seventh pick, I have the Carolina Panthers taking defensive lineman Derek Brown from Auburn. I feel like I don't know, it's a good pick for them. They can obviously still have a good D line, but everyone on their line is getting old. It's a great way to rebuild it. He's great at stopping the run, and I feel like he's probably the best player available here.
At pick 7, I have the Panthers taking Isaiah Simmons. I believe that they're the first team in the draft order that doesn't have a giant hole to fill. They just need to overall improve. I think that starts with Simmons playing all over their defense.
I agree with Shane on this one, and I think that the Carolina Panthers are going to take Derek Brown from Auburn. I think that with the rest of the players that I had drafted before, he is the best overall prospect that would help the Panthers defense, considering last year they just got ran all over. Like, their defense was so bad last year. They just need like someone to help stop the run, and I think that Derek Brown will be able to uh, do that for them.
Yeah, I agree with Nick and Shane. The defense needs help on the run, especially losing Luke Kuechly to retirement very early. That leader on the defense is not there, so you're going to need everybody else to step up. And I feel like this is just a perfect fit to help with that run stop, to help with the defense overall, and get the youth on the defense, give it more energy.
So you guys don't have Tua going. Could you
Nope.
possibly see the Panthers taking Tua? Because Teddy Bridgewater is I don't think he'll be the answer to the future. Like I think he's good enough for this year and maybe next year and you have Tua wait for 2 years and then he's your quarterback for the future. You guys see that as a possibility?
Yeah, I don't see a way the Panthers draft a quarterback in the top 10 this year.
No, I don't think that the Panthers would take a chance on Tua when they just signed Teddy Bridgewater to a bunch of money. I think they're gonna stick with Teddy for at least this year, and if that doesn't work out, maybe they'll take Trevor Lawrence next year, or see what happens. They might draft a quarterback in the later rounds just to have someone in their locker room to like maybe compete. But I think they're gonna stick with Teddy.
I do think that you're going to stick with Teddy just because he has the similarities of Cam Newton, where you have the run pass options. You could do a bunch of RPOs. You could do a bunch of different plays. You could have Wildcat under the running back just because Teddy Bridgewater may not be the best or the sharpest quarterback out there, but like definitely like having a similar playbook when Cam Newton was there definitely helps with that, especially with Christian McCaffrey, knowing that he has that same somewhat offense he's going into. They're not going to change that much up. And I just don't see Carolina drafting Tua at that spot.
Well, with the next pick, with the 8th pick, I have the Cardinals drafting Jedrick Wills, offensive tackle. So from Alabama. So before the Hopkins trade, I would have had him taking Jerry Jeudy, who I think is the best wide receiver in this draft. But after that, I feel like what they need to do is protect Kyler Murray. I mean, their defense is awful, but I feel like maybe if Derek Brown is there, they might have taken him. But I think their biggest need is definitely offensive line. I think Jedrick Wills is the number 1 prospect in this draft.
Yeah, I have the Cardinals taking Mekhi Becton from Louisville to secure Kyler Murray's blind side for the future, block for their new running back, whoever that's going to be.
I have the Cardinals taking Mekhi Becton. I just think that the fact that Jedrick Wills is naturally a right tackle, because he had to protect a lefty quarterback, they're not going to want to take a chance and maybe risk their left tackle not being as good. So they're just going to take with someone who knows the left tackle position, and Mekhi Becton, who has a huge upside as it is, and he's already going to be good at the left tackle position. So they're gonna stick with that.
Yeah, I also went with an offensive tackle, but I went with Tristan Wirfs, and I feel like I don't know, I feel like he has more upside, to be honest. And I already had Jedrick Willis going out, so he was my next top tackle at the position. And he's like 6'5", 320 pounds, and he ran a 4 something, or like a 4, like, I don't know. He ran a very fast 40 time. I had to look back at what it was, but it was not in the 5s.
Yeah.
And he's a very like athletic tackle who could definitely keep his blocks and like definitely hold off pass rush long enough for Kyler Murray to either run away or throw the ball away.
Yeah, I feel like you definitely couldn't go wrong with any of the 4 tackles here for the Cardinals, but yeah, I think we all agree they're going to take a tackle. And then with the 9th pick, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking, this is a big one, I have them taking Kevon Chaisson, edge rusher from LSU. Obviously, this is a little bit early, but that team, I feel like edge, I don't think they're going to take a quarterback this draft. And one of the most important positions besides quarterback is edge. and Chason is the best one in this class. I could also see them trading back, but if they stay, I think they're going to take Chason, the edge rusher, LSU.
I have a trade here at 9. I think with
Oh,
3 of the 4 big tackles going in the top 8 picks, I think the Buccaneers in a win now mode
Right.
trade up to 9 and draft Andrew Thomas to help block for Brady for the next 2 years or so that he has left.
That's very interesting. I I was very torn with this pick because the Jaguars can do so many things with this pick. They can trade back. They can take an offensive tackle if they really, really want to. They could take a defensive player. But I think with the recent release of Marquise Lee, they have a new opening at wide receiver. So I do think that they're going to take Jerry Jeudy from Alabama.
did not see that coming. Okay.
I could see that. I could see that.
I could see it, but I did not imagine that pick happening. I went for the Jacksonville Jaguars, drafting a cornerback, C.J. Henderson, the number 2 prospect corner in the draft, only because that defense is starting to separate. They're losing players, and their defense isn't as good as it was when they made the playoffs. No shot. They lost. They had Calais Campbell. Now he's on the Baltimore Ravens.
They lost AJ Boye, Jalen Ramsey,
yeah.
and Yannick Ngakoue wants out too. So the defense is really falling apart.
They don't
They also
have
lost
the
Dante
same
Fowler.
Their defense just isn't the same, and I think they're going to rebuild on the defense first. Because their offense is horrendous, even with the GOAT, Gardner Minshew. I don't think he could carry them.
I feel like, obviously my pick's also a reach. I feel like CJ Henderson's also a reach. I feel if they really wanted to get him, they could take him, obviously, but I think they might be more beneficial for them to trade back, which I definitely see happening for that team to acquire picks to rebuild.
Yeah, the thing I was thinking with if they do trade back, I've heard rumors that the Falcons want to trade up to get CJ Henderson. I was also hearing that if the Dolphins, like in my mock draft, don't take Tua, they would take the picks later in the first round and trade up to take him whenever they want because they just have so much draft capital they could just trade with whoever and just take him then. So I think that was another option, but I think that the wide receiver was the best option for the Jaguars.
For my 10th pick, I have the Cleveland Browns trading with the Denver Broncos. And with the 10th pick, the Denver Broncos select Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver, Alabama. I feel like when you look at this team, they just got Drew Lock, and I think he's the future. He ended really well. And if they get to put Jerry Jeudy on the other side of Courtland Sutton, I feel that'll be a great duo for that team, along with Noah Fant at tight ends. And yeah, I've been seeing rumors that they want to trade up and draft a wide receiver, and I think they will.
I have the Browns taking Derek Brown here at this pick. I'm falling all the way to 10. Sure up their defensive line with Vernon and Myles Garrett. Sure up plug him in at defensive tackle, stuff the run, and have themselves a pretty good defensive line next year.
That would be some defensive line. Myles Garrett, Olivier Vernon, and Derek Brown.
Yeah, that would be a pretty insane line to go against. For my draft, I have the Browns staying where they are and drafting their new left tackle, Andrew Thomas. I think that they're also going to pass on Wills for the same reason, because they just signed Jack Conklin in free agency, who is a right tackle. So just take the person who knows how to play both tackle positions and just stick him at left tackle, and you'll probably have more success there.
I actually agree with Nick. I had the Cleveland Browns taking Andrew Thomas to solidify that offensive line, to protect Baker Mayfield, to hopefully get that offense rolling. Because last year they were up and down. They're expected to be probably a playoff team, probably being a contender, and that just did not happen. So I feel like a revamp in the offensive line gives Baker more time, gives Baker more time to see the play develop, hopefully get his receivers, either Odell or Jarvis Landry, open downfield, and just give him more shots to get the offense going.
Mm. So, just to recap, my top 10 picks was Joe Burrow, Chase Young, Tua, Isaiah Simmons, Jeffrey Okuda, Justin Herbert, Derek Brown, Jedrick Wills, Kayvon Chason, and Jerry Jeudy.
My top 10 was Joe Burrow, Chase Young, Tristan Wirfs, Dredrick Wills Jr., Jeff Okuda, Justin Herbert, Isaiah Simmons, Micaiah Becton, Andrew Thomas, and Derek Brown.
My top 10 was Joe Burrow, Chase Young, Tristan Wirfs, Isaiah Simmons, Jeff Okuda, Justin Herbert, Derek Brown, Mekhi Becton, Jerry Jeudy, and Andrew Thomas.
To wrap it all up, my top 10, Joe Burrow, Chase Young, Jeff Okuda, Isaiah Simmons, Justin Herbert, Jedrick Willis, Derek Brown, Tristan Wirfs, CJ Henderson, and finally Andrew Thomas. All right, so there's the draft.
I have a question for Nick. With the way that your draft would fall, who would you have the Jets taking?
As much as I would like the Jets to take a wide receiver, I really, really want CD Lamb, but the smartest option for them is to take Jedrick Wills because he's the last tackle left. They need both tackles, to be honest, so no matter where you put him, he's going to help.
So let's say the draft falls the way that Danny has it, where all 4 tackles are off the board before pick 11. Would you rather the Jets take CeeDee Lamb or trade back and take either the 5th best tackle or another wide receiver? Just trade back or just say.
I think it's very hard because I feel like having CeeDee Lamb with a lesser offensive lineman would be more beneficial than to have a second-round wide receiver with an offensive lineman who's not going to give you the same production as the top 4. So I think I would stay there and take CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, probably would say, I don't know. Big CeeDee Lamb fan. But so is there any trades that you guys could see happening like outside the top 10 or any other crazier trades we didn't talk about inside the top 10? Patriots, Saints, maybe moving up to get the quarterback.
See maybe a team trading. I could see maybe the Dolphins moving up a couple spots to draft Tua.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. I think they're going to, because they have like 6 picks in the top 70, which is insane.
Like in the top 26.
Yeah, like they could just take one of those first rounders and then a second round, and that's probably enough to move up a few picks and go take them. And they could go take a wide receiver for him as well. And then they just got 3 huge upgrades to their offense.
I think personally, there's a very high chance the Giants trade back to draft an offensive tackle. And if they don't draft Isaiah Simmons, I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to trade back and draft one of the 4 top tackles in the draft.
I also think that the Philadelphia Eagles are a very big trade up candidate. I think they want to get out of that 21st pick because they're sort of in the middle ground. They want a top wide receiver, but they don't want to risk the person that's projected to fall to them, Justin Jefferson, to go ahead of them. So they need a wide receiver badly. So they're going to go up and get him.
Yeah, it could definitely happen. You could see Broncos, Jets, Raiders, 49ers all taking wide receivers. And I mean, Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs, and then who's 4? Do you have Jefferson? So yeah, I could definitely see them trading up, maybe with the Jets, but you never know. So there's still some players remaining in free agency, some big names.
Oh, yep.
So where do you guys think Clowney's gonna go?
We're starting with Clowney. All right. I think he's just going to re-sign with the Seahawks at this point. I don't think anybody's going to offer him as much as he wants. And I feel like the highest bid he'll get is from the Seahawks, and he already knows the defense. So if he does go back to the Seahawks, I feel like his second year is going to be a lot better than his first year, because his first year he was below what he usually produces at, and it was very underwhelming. So I feel like second year he'll look closer to the player he was, and he'll just have a better opportunity to like produce.
Yeah, I believe he's re-signing also. The wait's just been too long. With teams having to put money into the draft coming up, I don't think he's going to get the money he wants, and he's just going to be forced to re-sign for like a 1-year prove-it deal.
I am. I don't think that he's going to re-sign with the Seahawks. Recent reports have said that they've tried to negotiate with him, and he's not accepting any deals that they want. He wants some more. And looking at the cap space that the teams have left, Seahawks only have 12 million left, which that's not a lot to sign your your draft picks and your top defensive player. Looking at the top 5 teams with the cap space, I think that the Cleveland Browns definitely have the cap space to do it, but I don't think they're going to do it. I think that the most logical team left is the Tennessee Titans. They need a big defensive player, and they have a really good defensive coach with a lot of cap space left. So I think that he's going to go sign there.
Yeah, I would. I don't think he's gonna go back to the Seahawks. I was reading reports today. I think Pete Carroll spoke out, or the GM. They're saying how, like, their hand was forced by like the time passing, and they got other defensive players. So I don't really see Clowney going back there. I don't know where he's gonna go. I heard he was asking for anywhere to 18 to 20 million per year. I don't think he's gonna get anything close to that. I think he'll get more in like the 13 to 15 range, if even that. I could see the Titans signing him, or any other team with cap space would be happy to have him. Maybe the Colts. I don't know how much cap space they have, but I see that as a good fit there.
He's just
And
not
then-
worth that 18 to 20 million.
Yeah.
Not with the
Especially
production
after
that he
last
had.
season.
Yeah.
Last season, no.
He has the talent, but he's not producing. And then Logan Ryan is, I would say, the best cornerback available. And I don't really know. There's a bunch of teams that could use a corner. I've read reports that the Lions passed on Jeff Okudah and take someone else, and they signed Logan Ryan to fill their cornerback spot. The Jets could definitely use a cornerback. The Falcons could use a cornerback if they don't get C.J. Henderson. But I think after the draft, like, real quickly, he'll be signed. His teams will know what they need.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars will definitely look into that, especially if they don't draft a corner in the draft, especially first round. I feel like, because again, their defense is not the same as it was, and I feel like that would definitely help boost the defense just a bit. Even if it's not up to the level that they were at, it will still help. But I feel like that's one of the best fits for Logan Ryan at this point.
I have Logan Ryan signing with the Lions to be a bit of a mentor to Jeff Okudah right away. They did lose Darius Slay, so to have a little 1-2 punch at corner.
I think that's a very good option for them. I think that Logan Ryan's gonna end up signing with the Jets just because that's a huge need for us. Like, as much as we do have more cornerback depth now than we did but last season, I think that Logan Ryan would be a huge upgrade and would just be an impact player right away.
Yeah, there's many teams need a corner. It's a need every year. But who knows? I think after the draft, teams will know what they need. Like, if the Falcons don't get C.J. Henderson, I think they'll take a good look at him. If the Lions pass, they're going to take a good look. If Jets, I don't think the Jets are going to take C.J. Henderson, but you never know. And the best running back available, I believe, would be Devontae Freeman. He was cut after Todd Gurley was signed. I don't really know where he's going to go. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs pick him up if they don't draft DeAndre Swift for a cheap price. They wouldn't pay big money, but maybe like a veteran's minimum or something if he just wants a ring. Maybe the Patriots. I don't know.
I feel like the Arizona Cardinals will sign Devontae Freeman just to mix with Kyler Murray, having that, again, run-pass option, having the ability to throw to your running back who is capable of catching these passes, having a versatile running back that could fit with your young quarterback, help your quarterback grow. And obviously you have the easy dump off if the open field is not open and not forcing your quarterback to make tough throws. I think it's just a perfect fit at that point.
Do you not like Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds?
I feel like you could mix Devontae Freeman with Kenyon Drake, especially losing David Johnson for that horrendous deal. um,
Yeah.
that like they got DeAndre Hopkins, they're set, but like I still don't know why the Houston Texans did that trade. Makes no sense what they did, and like I don't know how they're gonna recover from that. I don't think they're making the playoffs next year.
I could see Devontae Freeman going to either the Lions or the Colts, but I think mainly the Lions with the running backs getting hurt last year. I think it's a concern, injury concern for sure, and I think he'll help right away. And yeah,
Yeah, I could see him going to the Lions, but considering that Devonta Freeman was also hurt for most of the year last year, I don't think they're going to take another injury-prone running back. I think that a place that he could go is possibly to go ring chase with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Go add Devonta Freeman to your already stacked offense with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronkowski, who just got traded, and now
And O.J.
Devonta
Howard.
Freeman, and O.J. Howard as well. Ronald
Cameron
Jones is
Brate.
also pretty good, but I think if you add Devonta Freeman, I don't know if there's much you could do to stop them.
That would be dangerous. I don't want to see that actually. Really don't want to see that, but I think that would be the most logical. If I was him, that's where I would want to go. And then lastly, the free agents left. We're just gonna group all the quarterbacks together. Obviously, you got Cam Newton. I'm just gonna put Andy Dalton in here because he's probably gonna get cut. Well,
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
I think we could just keep it at that.
There's been reports about Cam Newton going to the Chargers, but I really think they're gonna stay with Tyrod Taylor. I could see if any of the quarterbacks go to the Patriots, I would see Andy Dalton most likely, maybe Jameis Winston, but yeah, the quarterbacks are really a toss-up. This really depends how the draft goes. I could see one of them going to the Steelers if Ben's elbow isn't fixed, but really, I think after the draft, it's going to be more defined.
Yeah, there's not many quarterback needy teams this year, which is rare.
Yeah,
I could see Cam Newton or honestly any of them signing with the Colts.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Even they have Philip Rivers.
Yeah, I mean, Philip Rivers is only probably good for like a year. If you get Jameis Winston, could learn a little bit from Philip Rivers and plug him in afterwards.
The only two other teams that have needing a quarterback is obviously the Chargers, and then my first team, even though they signed probably one of the best playoff players in the league, Nick Foles, the Chicago Bears need a quarterback. I don't think Mitch Trubisky or Nick Foles are the options, and I feel like if they sign Jameis Winston, their offense would be a lot better because their defense is already good. It's their offense that needs help, and I feel like Jameis Winston, even though he throws a lot of picks, he'll give the offense the boost that it needs.
I think a very interesting option for Cam Newton could be to possibly go and back up someone who's already going to be a starter. He already is a starter. He's been a starter for a while. But I think it could follow a model that they did a few years ago. The Green Bay Packers, I think that Aaron Rodgers is getting pretty old. I know he's definitely still one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. But I think that just having Cam Newton there could be a good, like, Taysom Hill kind of guy for him. Could use him in, like, that kind of way because he's a very big target, very big athlete. And then they could definitely use him as a quarterback in the future if they do want to move on from Aaron Rodgers.
The only thing I have to say about that is your whole Taysom Hill comparison. I feel like Cam Newton's too injury prone to be used as much as Taysom Hill has. Taysom Hill is more of an athlete than a quarterback, and I feel like I think Cam Newton leads more to the quarterback side. Obviously, he could run. He's a quarterback that could run, but his main option isn't a run, and it's to pass. And I feel like putting him in like slot or like having him in tight end packages or having him in Wildcat. You could have him in Wildcat, but like other options where he's going to be receiving the ball and he's taking big hits just is not worth that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a very good point.
catching passes since he entered the league. But back in BYU, when he was quarterback, he had a season-ending injury all 4 of his years. So it's not that he's not injury-prone, but he wasn't as good as a passer as Cam. When Noonan was in Auburn, he won the Heisman. Obviously, mostly based on his running ability, but he was still a lot better passer than Taysom Hill ever was. But I don't see Cam being anything other than a quarterback in this league.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I do think it's just a slight possibility that they could do, but I think they do need someone to back up just in case Aaron Rodgers gets hurt again. I think that the other quarterbacks on this list, Andy Dalton, I don't think he's going to be a starter. I think he's going to have to be a backup somewhere. And there's a few teams that need backups. Jets being one of them. They only have Sam Darnold, and then I don't even know who the second quarterback is. Is that David Fales or something?
Yeah.
I think that's a good spot for him just to be a backup, but a good mentor, just a veteran presence in the locker room. I think he could go somewhere like the Giants. Maybe they need some veteran presence there, somewhere where he could just go be a backup and help teach the young kid.
Yeah. Another
Right.
place for Cam to go, if there's a possibility the Ravens might draft Jalen Hurts in maybe the 2nd or 3rd round or 4th if he falls. But if they don't, I could see Cam Newton going there. If he doesn't get a starting role, he could be a good backup for Lamar. Because obviously, not that Lamar is going to lose his starting job, but he's running around a lot. So there's a chance that he could get injured, and I feel like Cam Newton would be probably the best other quarterback option to fill that role.
Speaking of Lamar Jackson is going to be the new cover athlete for Madden. Is the Madden curse going to continue with
Madden
Lamar
curse.
Jackson? Pat
Mahomes
Mahomes broke
won the
it.
Super Bowl,
Pat
but he
Mahomes
did dislocate his knee in the middle of the year, so you never know.
You could just look at Antonio Brown. Oof. His career was not the same after that.
True. I don't know if it's gonna happen to Lamar. I think that with the way that he runs, there's definitely a big chance of him getting hurt. So I think that's just gonna come down to the chance on if it happens to him.
And the Patriots aren't obviously as dangerous, so I feel like they have a better chance in the playoffs without Tom Brady leading the Patriots and having a chance to go to the Super Bowl every year.
They'll have to get past the Chiefs.
Yeah,
Still have
the
to get
Chiefs
past the
are obviously
Titans.
top. The Titans are up there. Their run game is so hard to stop in the playoffs. Did you just say the Jets?
Yeah. No, I meant to say the 2021 NFL champion. My bad. We'll tackle there.
Oh, okay.
So, does anyone else have anything to say on free agency? Anything anyone wants to add?
I'm good.
I think we're all good here.
We summed it up.
So,
All right.
yeah, that's the end of our first podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll be back next time. Thank you.
Deuces.